Paulson with portalorum.com. This is night 2 of me attempting to do a live streaming sort of thing. So let's jump in. The last time that we were together, let me share my screen. Window. I'm going to share the window. There we go. All right. The last time we were together, I started talking about a little bit about proactive triggers and how they interplay with the VA chat button. That's this button down here in the corner that is hidden by my thing. Hold on. Here we go. The little button down here in the corner where you might see my mouse. Yeah. But the issue that I had heard of that I wanted to experiment with was that some of the customizations that I had recommended to make this chat button a little more personal to your brand, they were breaking when you add proactive triggers. So first, we had to get the proactive triggers working, and that ended up being a whole lot of trouble. Thanks to Daniel C., who, if you look for him on LinkedIn, he is a fellow MVP, also a fellow consultant at GlideFast with me. He's done a good bit of work here recently on proactive triggers. So if you want to learn more about proactive triggers, go give him a follow, check his content out. But when we were last together, I was having trouble getting the stupid proactive trigger to actually show up. Mind you, this is an out-of-box instance. It's on Yokohama because I had to explore some of the new Yokohama features, but I could not get it to work. So the last time we went through the process that we see both in the docs and in some of the articles that have been published by fellow MVPs about this whole setup thing, we went through the effort of putting in the plugins, going to conversational interfaces and setting everything up, and it just wasn't working. So I reached out to Daniel. I was like, Daniel, save me. So one thing that I found that, because he's sitting here troubleshooting this with me, and there were 2 additional steps to troubleshooting that he asked me about. One was, why don't I have, because I'm impersonating. I was like, why did I not have permission to see this page? See, there it is. But the first thing that I troubleshot was he asked me, is the conversation closed? Because if you have on the VA chat button, it will show your little bubble notifications like you see up here under my task. It will show you if you have any messages pending. This indicates that you have an open conversation. And one thing he was saying that he was having trouble getting it to display, even with all the settings the way they should be, if the conversation was open. So to close it, we went through the process of just to make sure, hitting show everything, hitting a thing, and then hitting this button up here to actually end the conversation and close it. So that was one additional troubleshooting step that we attempted, but no dice. That did not work. See there, it says no 0 unread messages on the hover message right there. That's what we're looking for, but that did not work. So the next thing he asked me about was the user criteria. Apparently, when you let me access the page. Apparently, under the proactive triggers, I'm going to go to it to show you. You could select these different user criteria, and out of box, there's a user criteria called all users. And that one, he told me, does not work. It doesn't work at all. It's busted. Try something else. So we went to our proactive trigger rule. And then within our rule, see, everything else was set up just fine. So we go to our action. This is the part that wasn't working, right? I'm going to cheat, use the here button. I always feel guilty when I click here to do it, because I'm like, no, you're not in an update set, whatever. What it happened to be was that this applies to this user criteria was not working. The all users one out of box, I think, is broken. So we settled on this one here, the users with the ITIL role. And then when I impersonate a user with the ITIL role, we were able to get it to display. So I saved all my hair pulling out my hair in frustration for off camera, but so we finally got it to show up. So now I want to go through some of the steps that I originally recommended to customize this VA chat button and see if it messes with this proactive trigger at all. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the portal. There are many ways to get to the themes record. You can also look under themes, but I like to go to portals and then find my portal record and then go to, we're cheating, go to the theme record this way. It's probably shorter the other way, but I'm stuck in my ways. So, okay, we have our Employee Center application. Okay, so let's pick our Employee Center. And I love the way they redid this. It's so much easier to set up your update sets and everything. But because I'm neurotic, I'm going to make a new update set. Proactive trigger testing statement. There we go. That's not normally how I do my update sets, but like I said, being lazy tonight, and it's my PDI. So I'm going to actually use my article. We're going to change SP agent chat background in our theme. I don't think it's actually in here. So we're just going to come down here and we're going to call it, let's find a color. Let's find a good color. So I'm going to be using my alma mater, however you say it. I went to school at this place. So I'm going to use this color palette for another project that I'm thinking of using here. But just word to the wise, if you end up needing to style a portal and you have an external website to go off of and no brand guide, this is what I do. I go in and I poke around and I open the inspector element, which I don't think you can actually see right now. So let me change this. Share screen. Entire screen. There we go. Okay, so now you can see it. So I'm looking for the color of this background. Where are you? There it is. There we go. So now we're going to just color this color. And it should be darker. So we got a lighter ServiceNow purple. We're calling it ServiceNow purple. It should be like ServiceNow green. Whatever. See, now it's that darker purple. So the out-of-box way is using this SAS variable. Okay, and I point that out in my article. This is using this SAS variable, I believe, only responds when you have like the out-of-box virtual agent thing there. If you use the legacy widget, this I don't believe this SAS variable will work. I could be wrong. I wrote this down, and this is why we write things down, folks. You see, and I talk about some different ways to do it, because I am really particular about how I do my SAS variables. Let's see, and then we're going to talk about changing the icon, but first I want to impersonate my user and see if that broke things. Where's my proactive trigger? Should still be there. That's not good. That broke really quick. Okay. Oh, there it is. See, okay. So we know the out-of-box SAS variable to change a background color does not break it. All right. Next, let's see. Did I actually do this with any CSS or any other kind of funky way? Custom blah, blah, blah. Okay, so next we're going to try changing the, see, Mark does so many virtual agent articles on the community. Y'all gotta go check him out too. Let's see, now we're going to try changing the icon in there. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to find me an icon. I know I have some. Let's see if I can find a good one. Let's go to flat icon and find one there. This website is so great. Chat. We're going to do that. Okay, which one do we like? I think we like, we need a light one, really. Let's do this one. Ping. Free download. Must attribute it. We got to attribute this person here. That's who actually made it, but we're just doing this for demonstration purposes. Okay. So then we go back and we look at our CSS. Okay, this is what happens. This is what shows when your chat window is closed like this. So we're going to go here. And then we've actually got to put the, oh, for crying out loud. This is one thing I hate about doing portal work when I'm trying to like impersonate a user, because the user has certain roles that I need in order to see things versus the admin role where I'm actually doing the work. I end up having to figure out the change and then unimpersonate and then save my widget and then re-impersonate, see if it worked. It's such a pain. But we don't need this anymore. Did it put in my CSS or do I have to do that over again? Son of a gun, I gotta do it over again. Okay. Okay. We're gonna try this again. There we go. So we're just putting this here for now. No, that's like a out of box, whatever image name. So we need to go to the images table and we're just gonna slap this on the images table. Service portal. I don't know if this actually does anything, if anybody wants to tell me, but I'm particular, so I put it in there. Yellow chat icon dot ping. It's important when you put it in that you select whatever the file type is, because this is what you're actually going to pull into downloads chat. There we go. That's what you're actually going to be pulling into your SAS variable. And see, image, like if you were putting this into the HTML of a widget, you would use this full image tag, and then you could mess with the width and the height and blah, blah, blah. But we just need, honestly, this name. That's new. I don't know why it added that on the front, but okay, I can go with that. So let's go back to our theme. See, I've got the dot ping, and I noted this in my article, but that / there is very important. So make sure it's a this way / and not a that way / technical terminology. Yes. This is what happens when you let an extrovert talk to herself too much. All right. So now I should be able to see a different image. Gasp. It's too big. What do I do, Past Sarah? This is not working. In fact, let's take a look-see at what this looks like for our guy, Bud. Okay, it's too big. We're not feeling it. As my 5-year-old would say, that's a thumbs down. I don't know how many of y'all have kids, but it's really funny how much of the vernacular we pick up from them. And it just sticks. Okay, so that's not working. We don't like that. Okay, now the right way to do this is to do a style sheet. So I'm going to not be lazy. Lazy approach is to put CSS in this box here. That says CSS variables. This is not where we put CSS. The only exception to that is if for some reason you're doing the mix-ins. Mix-ins apparently don't play nice the last I checked with the CSS includes unless that's changed here recently. So you want to put any mix-in type CSS down here in your CSS variables thing. But that's not what we're doing. So we're going to make us a nice little style sheet. VA branding. Oh wait, we want a new one. I don't have this one yet. Something to start because I'm scared it won't save otherwise. I always put like test or something like that in there. But that's why I do it, because I'm afraid that for some reason it won't save or it'll be weird or something if I don't. I would love to know what other neurotic behavior some of you other developers have. Okay, so virtual agent branding. Let's see, and then here, see, I even gave y'all comments. It was thorough. Look at that. Button icon displayed when chat is closed. Okay. That was not our name. So we have to go back to our theme. Where are you, theme? So I can get the name of my button. Let's see. This is to actually put the button in there. Come to think of it. Adjusting the size. So actually, I don't think I need that. Okay, what we want to do is like this. That's right. This CSS was what you do if for some reason the background image wasn't working. If like I had this one client who has a very custom instance, but it's got lots of neat features in it, and one of the things they have is virtual agent button, and it connects to utterances and a lot of other pieces of functionality in ways that the out-of-box one doesn't do. So they're using the a modified version of the legacy widget, and this is kind of, if you're in that case, what you can do to put that background image in then. But we're not doing that. We're coming down here. Because with the CSS classes here that target that button, we're going to manually override the width and all that kind of stuff. I think there actually is a virtual agent style sheet, but I always like to do separate style sheets so I can easily understand what I did versus what out of box did. All right, let's see just out of box. Let's just see if that did anything. Boop, that did nothing. All right, that did not work. So we're going to come in here and say, oh, see, it does work. But now, y'all see the shadow root thing? That means it is in a component, maybe. So maybe there's somewhere else. Button. Now, normally when you see that shadow root thing, you're kind of hosed, because that means there's an embedded component, because ServiceNow thought it was a good idea to put components in my widgets, and I will never forgive them for it. But let's see if we can't get this to a point where it will actually listen. I do not think this is going to work. I do not believe this will work. That did not work. Now the question is, would this work if I did not have the proactive trigger on? Change the open. Okay, this is all we have here. So let's see. Why do you have to put components in my widgets? I don't like it. Maybe there's a CSS variable for it. I'll have to look that up. Okay, where am I going now? Oh, that's right. We were going to try, and this is what happens when you have somebody trying to stay focused at the end of the day when the ADHD meds aren't working. We're going to go back to conversational interfaces. I am going to attempt to, wait, settings. Why do you keep going to my Slack integration that I don't have? That's weird. Okay, anyway. Roles. Just all right. Okay, so that's still busted. False, false, false. All right, this is not active. Okay, let's make sure proactive thing is not working. Okay, so then let's see here. I'm going to go back to my style sheet. Look at this. So now a couple things I'm going to do. Let's try overriding. I don't think that's going to work because that was not the same. See how this is SPAC root, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's actually going to work. Because if you look at the thing, that's not the same CSS classes. Okay. Branding styles, blah, blah. Here's our thing. Let's see, it's history. I'm going to save this. Neurotically save. Okay, so that's in there. All right, we're gonna save this. So what we're doing here now is we're testing, like canceling out we're commenting out the SAS variable we have here. Because I want to see if it will pick up the styling from the style sheet. Okay, so now we've commented out the SAS variable. Now let's see. My setting the background image will work. If not, we'll cuss a little bit. Okay. Now we need our button. See, I was doing this before. No, actually, that's from when I was doing it for the article, and I've blown off my instance since then. Grabbing the icon or the image name. I'm going to stick it right here. And I don't have the / there. Work. It did not work. Okay. So what we are dealing with here, for whatever reason, I don't know the specifics about when this may have been changed, but this right here has a component that it is embedding whatever you put into that SAS variable in. Now, one thing I don't know is if I'm popping open Adobe Illustrator, because what we're going to see, height, width. 36 what? I don't even know. Okay, whatever. The width is 36 and the height is 32. So what we're going to do, go away, Element Inspector, is I'm popping open our chat icon, which I downloaded as a ping, so I'm making my life difficult. Whatever. Chat. How even big is this? Okay, view. And truth be told, I don't actually get into Illustrator near as much as I do, so y'all are going to get to see how rusty I am. Where are you? My ruler. Show ruler. Pixels. Okay. See, this is like 500 pixels, and I bet you that 36 by 32 was like width 18 pixels. Well, this says 18 by 18. I'm kind of trying to see what the actual size of this is. Okay, Y, width, height, 36 by 32. I mean, that's okay. So then, now I'm looking at the properties of my image to see how big it is. It's ping file. 512 pixels is the width of the ping file. So I bet you. Now with width, we want the width to be 36, but in the height to be 32. So I'm going to make both of them 32. Okay. Let's see, we're going to put this on a thing. See, this is only 32 pixels big. So we're going to see if, what I'm going to test now is if importing the image in a smaller size that is actually meant to fit in the chat bubble will actually solve our issue. Not that one. Okay, and then formats. One thing I want to check is background color. This is something, if you're an illustrator, it's infuriating because I don't know if it's like the out-of-box setting or whatever, but whenever you're exporting for screens, you want to come over here and look at whatever file format you're doing and make sure that background color is transparent, or you're going to have a nice white or black block behind it, and that sucks. Okay, where am I going to put this? Let's put this in service now. Live stream. I'll see all my business. Select folder. Go there. All right. All right. away, Illustrator. All right, now we're going to see. Let's see. Images. Okay. Okay, we want to delete this. Sometimes with, let me find my thing. Looking for my image right now. Here it is. Did not name my artboard. Some designer somewhere is going to fuss at me for that. Okay, so 33 is the height. That's the one we're getting. Still have the same name. Let's see if I get lucky and it just resets. Oh no, because I undid that. Okay, so in order to, now I'm going to reactivate the SAS variable that controls this background image, and we're going to see if it decides to play nice and be the size that I want it to be. I can get rid of this. Why are you big? Oh, let me clear my cache. When in doubt, clear the cache. I want to do that. Delete browsing data. When I die, delete my browsing data. See, that's the thing with images is even if you update them with a new thing, you have to clear the cache or it's going to show the old one. This is the problem I've run into so many times. But okay, what I just did, and that image is a little fuzzy, which is interesting to me. So let's see. Remember, the actual image, it was a ping that I resized, but given we went down, it should not have negatively affected the quality in this way. But let's see if we can figure out the size. But that at least got us in the ballpark of how big we want to be. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to redo my proactive trigger. I have two platform buttons open. There we go. So proactive triggers are on. Rules. We're going back to our proactive trigger. Come on. There we go. Open the record. Click here. We're going to reactivate our thing. We're going to activate our rule. We're going to save it. So now it should do what we want it to do for our guy. So where's my proactive trigger? That's not good. Our image is different. I love that I got the gold one because ECU colors. Okay. Now the proactive trigger thing is not displaying. So we're going to end impersonation. We're going to go to the theme. Because now what I'm going to test is we got the image to work. That is not how we do that. So the mistake I just made, I went like this and then this. What I was combining is when you comment out in HTML, you do message or comment out message and then like that. Okay. Or whatever you comment out, but that's how you comment that out. But in CSS, we're doing it this way. Boop. Okay. So now this is not active anymore. Let's make sure that the proactive trigger comes back. Okay. So if you, even using the out-of-box SAS variable, that's good to know. We're going to go back and try it one more time just to make sure we have our proactive trigger here. And then this is the out-of-box SAS variable now, because we can't really directly affect the, where are you? We can't really affect the CSS because it's in a component. Okay. So now we're going to, we're going to just cancel all that out. I'm just going to be safe. Put our thing back in there. All right, so there it is on there. Okay, so we're able to get the background to work with a proactive trigger. Maybe my CSS was screwing it up. But so we've got our icon when it's closed on there. And see the out of box X. Show me everything. Provide feedback. Like something. No, just like something. That's really vague. I love that. Y'all don't do your employee surveys like that. I like something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay. So it looks like, I don't know how it was done by the people that were reporting the error, but it apparently does take some finagling. You can't resize the image using CSS. You do not have access to it. So if you are using, one thing I need to test if that is overall now in Virtual Agent or if that's just with proactive triggers, but at least with proactive triggers, you're going to need to manually resize your image and make sure it's high quality so it's not fuzzy like the one we see down there, which I need to say because I've been showing y'all this all this time and it's been that you can't really tell in the screen share. Can we like zoom in? Zoom in. There we go. Zoom in all the way. But this is a little fuzzy, and we want this to be more crisp. So I would have to finagle with the image settings and all that to get it to be sharp. But I had to manually make sure that the image was of the size it needed to be because of it being embedded in a component. There is no resizing it with CSS the way I do in this article. So maybe I should update the article. Because in this, I talk about adjusting the sizing and everything. And this is pretty well centered. But because it's in there, I don't even know if that would work. So that's good to know. And then in here, we go into the open one. But again, this looks like CSS that is done from not this button here. So I'll have to look into what the change is there. Shadow root. Pop-up Yeah, the widget used to appear up in before you had any kind of component. So, okay, so you can still do it if you want to have a custom icon on your virtual agent chat button, and you want to use proactive triggers. Let me show it again, make sure it still works. There you go, proactive trigger. You can still make custom images, but it looks like what you have to do is ensure that the image is manually sized exactly to fit into the uh, the little circle there, the chat button circle. And that is about 32 by 32 pixels if you're using a square image. I think the out-of-box one we saw was using a width of 36 pixels and a height of 32. It wasn't exactly a circular proportionate icon. But that way we can still customize it and use cool icons and, you know, get a little bit away from the out-of-box type stuff, which is always good. Should be able to do the closing widget too. So let's just make sure we can do that. Let's just make sure we can do that. Why? Like, I need something that handles the impersonation for me because that drives me nuts. But it's still my history and I don't know. Where are you? Refresh. There's my theme. Isn't it pretty? Okay. So it took me forever to wrap my head around the naming convention, but the Sass variable that has close in the name is for when the window is closed. It is not the button you push to close the thing. So close Sass variable is for when the window is closed. The open Sass variable is for when the window is open. So now let's find close. Closing time. No. Let's do something weird. Normally you're going for like an X or something like that. And because it's going to sit in a circle, I don't want to be redundant and have two circles. Fine. But I need a color. Color. Yellow. Give me a yellow X. Not with that. Come on, guys. There we go. That's what we want. Actually, no. We're going to go into Illustrator. We're going to be lazy. Okay. Watch this. So I'm going to actually name this button open because that's the Sass variable we're going with. And I'm going to come here and we're going to make it this color. All I'm doing is making a simple little X icon to size. So I'm not like reducing the size of a ping or anything like that. Okay, expand, do the thing. There we go, see? And we're gonna transform and reflect, copy. Look at that, we're gonna combine them. Y'all didn't know you were getting an Illustrator lesson, did you? Okay, now we're going to export for screens. You don't have to use export for screens, it's just what I use because that's what I've been using since like CS6 and again, old dog new tricks and all that. Boop. Yep, live stream. Okay, that's going into my folder. Okay, now, of course, if you're going to set your images, you got to do different images for each one. So we're going to come over here. Now we're going to do yellow chat icon. No. Yellow chat icon. Open. It's so backwards, the naming convention. Boop. Now we've got our open button. Okay, I'm copying this name down because, again, this is what we're going to need. And then we're going to go over to our theme. And we're going to try doing this right here. The chat button open. I already did this. Why do I have two things open? That's not going to work. Leave. Okay. That's that. Save. Oh, that feels fuzzy too. Have to play with the sizing. Okay, but see, now you're displaying your item that's a little different. That goes with your theme a little more. With your ECU theme. Woot. I gotta know. Because that was showing up a little fuzzy. Let y'all look at me again. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this whole live streaming thing. Which is why I have not advertised this yet, because if anybody chats with me, I won't know how to handle it yet. So I'm still figuring this out. All right. So what I'm going to do to play with the that kind of pixelation we're seeing, because it's only a 32 pixel sized image. I just up the scale. So in Illustrator, you can export it at different scales. So like this is 32 pixels, but I can do it at 2 times that. So it would be like 64 pixel image. And I would like to hope that this will shrink it down, but I don't actually think it's going to do that. But let's find out. History, images. Let's go back to our image. Oh, those little puzzle pieces are cute. Where'd those come from? That's new stuff. I'm going to have to find out why they put that in there, because that's cute. All right, delete. Save. All right, doing the bigger version now. See that at ×2, that's what Illustrator puts on there. Width, height, 65. So what this is probably going to do is be too big for our thing. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and delete my browsing data because caching. Yep, that's what it's going to do. Okay. And the question is, how do we solve that issue? Because like if I make it bigger, it's not, maybe can I do an SVG? Let's do that. Okay. Now we're going to try save it as an SVG. Let's see if an SVG solves it. SVG is a scalable vector graphic. So it's like not actually a image. It's like math that makes up the image, and it scales really well. Okay. So we're going to do the one, oh, you can actually change the suffix there. That's where that at ×2 comes from. Okay. Export. Oh, button. 1 times button. No, we don't want to paint this one. So SVG. Export. All right. We're going to figure this out, y'all. We're going to figure this out. Okay. Delete. Save. Add. Boop. going to add my, hold on, they're named the same and I didn't figure out which one was the SVG. It's always good to do naming conventions. Okay, save. Why is that 65? SVG. Did I do the right one? No. Click add. Let me make sure I did the right one. That's the ping file. Properties. Size 515 bytes. Let me make sure I exported this right. Button. K. Scale. SVG. Okay, SVG doesn't have a scale. All right. So I guess because it's just the size that it is. Okay. So we're going to pick our SVG. SVG. No, that's not what I want. Okay. First we're going to ditch browsing data again. I do a lot of ditching my browsing data, so if I die, I'm safe. And I'm getting, oh no, it doesn't like an SVG. Oh, that's sad. That makes me so unhappy. Okay. Let's go look at the image that's actually in there. Actually, let's go back. We're going to, that makes me so mad. Like, service now, virtual agent, chat button. I don't want my article. I want service now to tell me the answer. Theme, chat back, yes. Okay, like that's great. Why doesn't it like me? I love this choice here. That's so great. Customize the chat button. It's all going to be the same thing, I bet. That's Agent Workspace. Okay, well, I am coming to the end of my time. And so next time, I will try to figure out how to get the icon to actually show up with decent quality. So we've determined a couple of troubleshooting steps to make sure that proactive triggers actually displays with a little help from our friends. And then we were able to successfully change out the icon. But to change out the icon, we can't use CSS to style it the way we want with a we can't use CSS to style it, to resize it or anything. I think when we have proactive triggers open, but we can upload an image that is like of the correct size at 32 pixel range and get something in there. However, that is showing up pixelated. So next time I want to try to figure out how to get the image to display correctly and display in a way that is not pixelated while working with proactive triggers. Come on, show up. Why are you not? Oh, did I? No, it's active. No, there's another issue. It was working. Now I've probably done something so it's not working. See, I was getting ready to sign off, but now I'm like, who's this? I like something that I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you who I am either. I'd be infuriated. No! There are no agents. It sucks to be you. Start a conversation. Okay. So we still have some more troubleshooting to do. There it is. Okay, so we can get an icon to appear with a proactive trigger, but it's a little pixelated. So next time we'll, like I was saying, we'll try to get it to display at full quality. So you'll have a good night. Thank you.